US President-elect Donald Trump's big expansion plans. Trump posts map showing Canada as part of the United States. Trump bats for Gulf of America instead of Gulf of Mexico.
We do most of the work there, and it's ours. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Donald Trump pushes for control of Greenland and the Panama Canal.
And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion.
Trump Jr. visits Greenland.
We're just here as tourists, looking at it.
Well, could you tell a little about the American interest in Greenland? There's been so much
that's not for me to talk about.
Denmark says Greenland not for sale. Donald Trump's bold merger call is our top focus on India First. The US President-elect Donald Trump is promising a golden age for the United States of America. So just about 12 days before he's sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald Trump has not ruled out use of military force to seize control, not just of Greenland, but also of the Panama Canal. So this is a big statement that he's made. He's not ruling out use of military force. He's talking about renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. He's reiterated his call to make Canada the 51st state of the United States of America. So this clearly goes way beyond, far beyond a jibe at Justin Trudeau, when Justin Trudeau had rushed to Florida, to Mar-a-Lago, after President Trump won the elections. What's the wider game plan? What's the wider strategic game plan of Donald Trump? We talk about it in greater detail because every word is carefully chosen. And are there already plans afoot? We'll tell you about that. I'm Gaurav Sawant as always. Let's get started. On the 20th of January, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. But even before that swearing in takes place, Donald Trump has taken the world by storm, announcing his plans to take control of Greenland and the Panama Canal, calling them both vital for US national security interests. He also reiterated his call for a merger of Canada with the United States, calling the border between Canada and the US an artificial line. And as promised, he actually promises to usher in a golden age of the United States of America. He says the Gulf of Mexico will be renamed Gulf of America. The Prime Minister of Denmark, incidentally, she's responded on the issue of Greenland, saying Donald Trump will have to be respectful of the wishes of the people of Greenland. We get you more in our top story.
Ahead of his second term, US President-elect Donald Trump is sparking fresh global controversy with his bold territorial ambitions. From Canada to Greenland, to Panama Canal, to the Gulf of Mexico, Trump seems determined to reshape the Western Hemisphere map. The latest uproar began when on Tuesday, Trump shared a map depicting Canada as part of the United States, reigniting his call for a US-Canada merger. Trump even vowed to use economic force like massive tariff to integrate Canada into American territory, claiming it is in the best interest of global security.
Economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada.
This isn't Trump's first attempt at provoking a merger discussion with Canada. In recent weeks, he shared an AI-generated image of himself with a Canadian flag. He also referred to outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau as the Governor of Canada in a Christmas post, further sending tremors. Trump went as far as claiming that Canadians would embrace becoming the 51st state of the United States. Trump's territorial ambitions extend beyond Canada. On Tuesday, Donald Trump Jr. made a private visit to Greenland, a Danish autonomous territory. The visit followed his father's renewed interest in the resource-rich Arctic region, known for its minerals and oil reserves. While engaging with the local community in Nuuk, Trump Jr. delivered a message from his father, emphasizing Greenland's strategic importance for both regional and global security.
I just want to say that it's a very special place. It needs security for itself, but it also needs security very much for the world. The location really, you see the people and the ships sailing around, and they're not the right ships, and they're not the ships you want to know about.
We're not meeting any politicians here, so that's not on the schedule. We're just here as tourists, looking at it.
So could you tell a little about the American interest in Greenland? There's been so much.
Oh, no, that's not for me to talk about. That's for others to talk about. But
Thank you, guys.
We're just excited to be here. Thank you, guys.
The visit drew international attention, with Elon Musk publicly supporting Trump's Greenland ambitions. However, the Danish government firmly rejected any possibility of Greenland being for sale.
I want to make it very clear that, as seen with the eyes of Danish government, Greenland belongs to the people of Greenland, and they're all very proud of the language and culture they follow. And as the chairman of the government of Greenland, Mute Eged, has stated before, Greenland is not for sale.
Trump's expansionist plans don't stop there. He has also proposed renaming the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America.
So we're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
Trump even stressed upon the need for U.S. control over the Panama Canal, citing economic security concerns.
The Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion.
Panama's foreign minister responded firmly, reaffirming the country's control over the canal despite Trump's threats of potential military or economic intervention.
La soberanía de nuestro canal.
Our canal's sovereignty is not negotiable and is part of our history of struggle and an irreversible conquest. The only hands that control the canal are Panamanian, and it will continue to be so. We are a country open to dialogue today and always, to investments and good relations, but with the clear slogan that the homeland is first.
With bold rhetoric and controversial proposals, Trump's second term is shaping up to be a battleground for territorial ambitions. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's decode Donald Trump's strategy in Canada, in Greenland, and the Panama Canal. Will it actually usher in a golden age for the United States as he claims, or are his statements mere rhetoric? Is he sending a message when his son says he's there, Donald Trump Jr. is in Greenland as a private citizen, or is some movement already happening? Joining me on India First is Ambassador Kamal Sibal, former Foreign Secretary of India, former Indian Ambassador to France, to Russia, to Egypt, and Chancellor of the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Also with me on this broadcast is Raymond E. Vickery Jr., former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, Trade and Development, of course, a key advisor on U.S.-India relations. And Raymond Vickery Jr., may I come to you first, sir? There seems to be a very angry response from Canada, whether it's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau or the Conservative leader of opposition, Pierre Poilievre. Now, Justin Trudeau says there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada will become a part of the U.S. So is Donald Trump seeking some concessions when he makes a statement on Canada beyond stronger borders and addressing trade imbalance?
Well, thanks for having me. I think that the remarks that have been made by the president-elect are very unfortunate. What it does is revert to an earlier time when personal and national greatness was measured by control over territory. After the disaster of World War II, the world, including India, got away from that concept. Unfortunately, there are some people like Putin and Xi, and apparently now President-elect Trump, who have reverted to the old-time view of what greatness is, and that you can control additional territory necessarily makes you great. That's not the modern age. The rule of law is supposed to be paramount in terms of how nations treat each other. There are those who say that Trump's remarks in regard to Canada are simply to pressure Canada for other reasons in terms of concessions on immigration, on tariffs, and so forth. I don't believe that's true. If you couple the remarks that were made about Canada with those made about Greenland, with those made about the Panama Canal, it clearly shows that Trump takes the view of the 19th century.
So let's take this one by one. Let's for a moment stay on Canada. I'll come to Greenland and the Panama Canal in just a moment. But are you suggesting that Donald Trump's statements are perhaps in response to what China's Xi Jinping and Russia's President Putin are doing? So let's talk about Canada for a moment. On Canada, is it rhetoric, or will he actually impose an additional 25% tariff? And is that threat intended just to ensure that Canada invests more in border security, checks, drug trafficking, human trafficking into the United States of America?
Well, I think it's clear that Trump has tried to link his remarks on Canada to national security. That's the same thing that Putin does in regard to Ukraine. It's the same thing that China does in regard to Himalaya Pradesh and Taiwan, that somehow you're safer if you can control more and more territory. Of course, that's a completely false argument and leads to conflict. We've seen that many, many times in the history of the world, and particularly in World War II. So I think that, yes, it's all linked together, that he wants to be as great as Peter the Great or Alexander the Great. And the way to do that is to control territory. And I think that that's his mindset. Let me bring in
Ambassador Kanwal Sibal into this conversation. Ambassador Sibal, is that also your appreciation? Like Peter the Great and Alexander the Great, Donald Trump wants to be Trump the Great. When we are to talk about Canada first, I'll come to Greenland and Panama Canal in just a moment. But on Canada, US and Canada are close allies, whether it's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Five Eyes intelligence sharing, NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. What does Trump hope to achieve, Ambassador Sibal, by wanting to make Canada the 51st state? Is he not belittling Canada?
Well, he is. he is humiliating Canada. He has humiliated Justin Trudeau personally. He's called him the governor of Canada and has told him that if he can't handle his economic issues, then he might as well become the 51st state of the United States. He's talked about how Canada is a burden on the United States to the amount of US $200 billion, and that the United States provides full security to Canada, that there's nothing that Canada produces which the United States wants, that the United States can do altogether without any imports from Canada. It doesn't need Canadian cars. I mean, he has elaborated his position on Canada and on Trudeau, and Elon Musk has joined in a very humiliating way.
For Justin Trudeau personally, it must be hugely humiliating, the way Elon Musk has also humiliated him. But, there's been a strong response from Justin Trudeau, from Pierre Poilievre. Ambassador Sibal, is Donald Trump starting on the wrong foot, or does Canada need to be administered this strong pill, the threat of drugs, human trafficking, or is the bigger issue China and Russia lurking in those waters?
Look, for us, for the rest of the world, this is a very disquieting development. As it is, people have been very worried about Trump's presidency, his unpredictable nature, his impulsiveness, and his penchant of making statements of the kind that he has made, which create a great deal of uncertainty in the rest of the world. Now, if the most powerful country in the world, which must act responsibility, violates all established norms, even when it comes to relationship with allies, by seeking to expand territorially, by demanding that they give up their sovereignty and join with the United States under threat of sanctions. You know, there are others who can emulate this. In other geographies, because you are actually violating, as I said, established norms, and this can have a ripple effect globally.
Especially when he says he's not ruling out the use of military force